Today we are here with Mandy. Mandy is one of our guests who is currently transitioning out of her relaxer. She hasn't had a relaxer in a little over 4 months, so she's got about 2.5 inches of her natural texture that has grown in. And as a result of that, we need to cocktail the shampoo and conditioner we use to fit her needs. So Mandy, being that she is in transition, we are going to use the ThermoSmooth products. The ThermoSmooth products can be used on hair that is natural. It can also be used on hair transitioning or even hair that is relaxed. The technology is going to prevent her hair from reverting, which is one reason why we love to use it on clients who are in this stage of transition that Mandy is. She's not interested in doing a big chop, but we definitely want to retain as much length as possible and maintain her length while she's transitioning. So because of that, we'll shampoo her with the ThermoSmooth shampoo, get a nice lather to make sure her hair gets nice and clean, and then when we deep condition, we are actually going to double deep condition her hair. So we're going to first use the fiber fill because, as we know, transitioning hair, if you're not doing a big chop, has a tendency to be weak on the ends that are still relaxed. So we're going to condition her first with the fiber fill using the proper steps for deep conditioning, and then we're going to condition her with the ThermoSmooth, also using the proper steps for deep conditioning. We suggest for a lot of our clients at home to double condition just because in this climate, during the winter, it tends to be very dry. And so as a result, if you're only using conditioners that are strengthening or have protein in them, you can end up causing mechanical damage to the hair because the hair isn't getting enough moisture. So by conditioning with something protein-based or strengthening-based first, rinsing that, and then deep conditioning with something moisture-based, it's going to make the mechanical side of things at home much easier on the hair. So proper steps for deep conditioning: shampoo the hair, get a great lather. If you need to, shampoo twice. As long as you're getting a good lather, that's the main thing. We want to make sure that the hair and scalp is clean. We're going to towel dry her hair, apply the conditioner ends first, working our way up, and then we're going to comb it through. We comb through first with a wide tooth comb, and then we comb through with a cutting comb. So the wide teeth and the fine teeth of a cutting comb. A lot of our customers, we will also suggest that they could use a Denman brush at home. Sometimes it's a little easier for them managing their own hair to use a Denman brush as opposed to a comb, and that's great because they're still going to get even distribution of the conditioner. So a lot of customers need to be coached on proper tools to use, so we always like to make that available for them. So we'll get started and we'll begin the deep conditioning process for Mandy. So now that we have Mandy thoroughly shampooed, we're going to towel dry her hair. When I towel dry her hair, I'm just squeezing the excess moisture out. You never want to roughly towel dry the hair because that's going to rough up the cuticle, and anything that will open the cuticle in a harsh way could be negative for the hair in the long run. So we just lightly towel dry her hair, and then I'm just going to put a towel around her just in case there's any little bit of excess that may drip off. And first we're going to use the fiber fill on her because, as we said before we began, she needs something that's going to strengthen her hair as she's transitioning. So we're going to put the fiber fill on her ends first and then work our way up. We always put it on the ends first because the ends are typically the most stressed. They've been around the longest and seen the most damage. And now I'm going to comb through her hair first with a wide tooth comb. Again, I'm starting at the ends and working my way up. This way I'm getting out tangles as I'm moving through the hair. If you start on the top and work down, you just push tangles down, which can cause a problem, especially if you're dealing with longer or more textured hair. And then I'm going to comb through first with the wide teeth of a cutting comb and then the fine teeth of a cutting comb. And again, starting on the ends and working my way up. And once we have this all combed through her hair, it will sit for 2 minutes. Then we're gonna rinse her hair. Ideally, you would like to rinse out conditioner with cool or lukewarm water, because that will help to seal the cuticle and retain as much of the conditioning value that the conditioner has to offer. So in this case with the fiber fill, it's gonna strengthen her hair. So if we're rinsing with cool water, it'll help to keep it as strong as possible. She'll reap the most benefit she can from the treatment. So we'll just let her sit for 2 minutes then. So now that we've rinsed out the fiber fill after 2 minutes, I'm again just lightly towel drying her hair to get rid of the excess moisture before I apply the ThermoSmooth conditioner. Again, we apply the conditioner mid-shaft to ends first before we work our way up. The ThermoSmooth conditioner can be left on 3 to 5 minutes. The more textured the hair is, the longer we suggest to leave it on. So oftentimes we will even leave it on clients up to 10 minutes if their hair is highly textured and they have not had a deep conditioning treatment in a long time. The ThermoSmooth conditioner is what we consider to be a progressive conditioner. So the longer you leave it on, the more penetration you're gonna get and the more control of the texture you're going to get. So again, just combing it through her hair, ends first, and then working my way up. And deep conditioning is something that we suggest for our clients to do as regularly as possible. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin's climate, you'll have days that have a lot of humidity in them, and then you'll have days that have no humidity. And so because of that, your hair can become very stressed out. And so if you're regularly deep conditioning your hair, you're staying ahead of the curve, which will then allow your hair to maintain its health no matter what the weather is. So again, combing through with the cutting comb now. First wide teeth, then switching to the fine teeth, just to guarantee even distribution of the product. So with Mandy's texture, she's transitioning, but her hair texture is relatively fine. So we're just gonna let the conditioner sit for the 3 minutes before we rinse her out with lukewarm or cool water. And as I mentioned earlier too, if you have clients who are new to this, we do sometimes suggest then that they start with the Denman brush. The Denman brush has bristles similar to that of a comb, and so if you use this, it's going to be a little bit easier for them to detangle their texture, and you're still going to get even distribution of the product. So if you have a customer who, you know, tends to cause mechanical damage to their hair as a result of combing through it, we would suggest to begin them on the Denman brush before moving them towards a cutting comb. So as you can see, Mandy does have her first few inches growing out from her relaxer. So what we're going to use on her today for styling is we'll put the fiber fill on her ends and her edges before we begin to detangle, as well as the 25 Miracle Milk. We're going to use both products because the fiber fill is going to help to strengthen her ends and her edges, and the Miracle Milk is going to help to strengthen and moisturize everything, as well as help us detangle and give her some heat protection as well. So we'll detangle her with these two products in, and then before I blow dry, I'll be using the ThermoSmooth Smooth Guard. That's going to protect her hair from the heat of the blow dryer. Before flat ironing, we're going to use the ThermoSmooth Shine Extend, which will protect her hair from the heat of the flat iron. So we'll get started. So just to refresh, we prepped Mandy's hair first with the fiber fill, ends and on the hairline to keep her ends and hairline strong because at this time they're a little bit weak. Then we used the Mizani Miracle Milk to add moisture to her hair as well as help us detangle. It has 25 different benefits, so it's going to do a lot more than just that, but at this current time, that's what we needed it for today. So these are 2 products that she can take home with her to continue her healthy hair regimen at home. And we explain these as well as the steps we use to take them, how much we use to our guests, so that they can have a successful relationship with the products. Prior to blow drying, we used a pump and a half of the ThermoSmooth Smooth Guard. This silicone-based serum is going to protect her hair from the heat of the blow dryer. Now that she's completely dry, I'm going to mist her with a couple mists of the Mizani ThermoSmooth Shine Extend to protect her hair from the heat of the flat iron. So just a couple mists. This product is oil-based, so we don't want it to get too heavy on her hair because she does have fine hair, but mainly just misting her ends to give them added protection because they've been around the longest, and as we know, she has the relaxer on them, and so they can become a little weak during her transition. As you can see, Mandy's finished result is nice and shiny and healthy looking, thanks in part to the Mizani deep conditioning treatments that she got today, as well as the ThermoSmooth finishing products, the Miracle Milk, and the Fiber Fill.